Just 3 days after Nathanael told Jesus he believed Jesus was the Messiah, Jesus was at a wedding in Cana in Galilee. When it became clear that the host of the wedding was about to be embarrassed, Jesus' mother approached him and explained the problem. They have no wine. The passage doesn't make it clear whether or not Mary was asking for a miracle, but Mary knew Jesus was the Messiah. She had no doubt, which is why Jesus said to her, "My time is not yet." John the Baptist knew. Andrew knew. He said, "We have found the Messiah." Peter believed him and followed. Philip believed. You see all this in John chapter 1. They believed. It's interesting that they believed before Jesus had worked a miracle. His first miracle was at that wedding in Cana, but they were convinced beforehand that Jesus was the Son of God. You know what happens all too often? Someone dies and suddenly God isn't God or isn't good. A prayer isn't answered, and now we're not so confident that God is really all we thought He was. But that's not the approach of the disciples. And the reason for that was because they had spent time in His presence. If you take time to spend in His presence, you'll believe too. You'll be convinced. A man who was far from God sat down with his Bible and started to read through one of the Gospels. Whenever he read anything that explained what Jesus was like, he wrote it down. And when he had a list written out, he read through it and he said, "I'd be a fool not to have Jesus in my life." John 20:29 says, "Blessed are they that have not seen and yet have believed." You don't have to see a miracle to be convinced that Jesus is the Savior of the world. You get to know Him, read the Bible, get to know Him well, and you'll be thoroughly convinced. I'm John Bradshaw for It Is Written. Let's live today by every word.